The month of May is almost over, and we have a very narrow lead over our Giants YouTube channel in subs gained this month. It is 6. Do not let the Giants pull off a fourth quarter comeback. Make sure we beat them, and you'll get free Cowboys YouTube videos every single day. Hit that sub button right now, youtube.com/@CowboysTV. We're going to begin today's show with what else but a Micah Parsons update here. So he was present at OTAs on Wednesday. Now, he didn't do drills. He had some, sound stadiums, intermission, graphics, media stuff that he had to attend from that perspective that he did have obligations for there. Showed up for that. Did a light lift, apparently. And then wasn't there on Thursday. Which, okay, why? Why wouldn't you go to that? So all sides have said, the Cowboys, Micah, his agent, all the different media reports have said that this absence has not been a contract thing. That Micah's been away from the team, getting himself ready to perform the best possible, which is fine. But also, why aren't you here with the rest of the team? Like, it is voluntary, all right? I get that. And it's in terms of, like, how much do things matter not being there at OTAs is, like, near the bottom, right? But why aren't you there? Why would you go for the broadcast obligation stuff and then not go for the rest of it? Again, it's not that big of a deal. This isn't mini camp. This isn't training camp. It's OTAs. But it does bother me a little bit. Because it's really not voluntary, right? It's voluntold. You are supposed to be there, even if you're not mandated to be there. And if this was a contract thing, honestly, I'd feel better about it because I get that. Because Cowboys have handled their contracts, right? I totally understand that. But you have a new defensive coordinator in there. You, in terms of Parsons, has made comments about trying to be a better leader. You can't lead not being there. You just can't do it. And by the way, I don't think Mike McCarthy liked it very much. Micah had said he would be back for week 2 of OTAs. Maybe he did just mean the Wednesday edition, but I don't know if that was not how it was received from us as fans, at least most of us as fans. I don't know if that's how it was received from McCarthy. He kind of didn't want to talk about it at his press conference. He seemed a little bit nonplussed. And he said this: I think anytime you have a chance to be together, it's an opportunity to improve, whether it's in the mental realm, the physical realm, which is limited, obviously, this time of the year, and the emotional connection and so forth. Talking about like the bonding you get with teammates. But it's a long year. Training camp is really heightened focus of all that. But yeah, it's definitely an opportunity that's been missed. Maybe it's a contract thing. I'd honestly feel better about that. But hey, man, you talk about wanting to be a better leader for your team. You got to be there. You have to. You're missing out on opportunities. I agree with Micah there. So how are you feeling about Parsons missing OTAs? M for you're mad, D for you're disappointed, W for you don't care. You're unbothered. It is OTAs. 3 options. Go vote the pinned comment of today's show, especially if the ad comes here on YouTube. Some OTA takeaways I do want to get into here. Consistency from what was been mentioned publicly by the coaching staff, at least. More praise involved there for Trey Lance. That's great. That's fine. Hope that ends up being the case. Do want to see the actual stuff that matters, training camp, preseason, etc. But it's better than the alternative of Lance needs a lot of work. Also of note, same absences from what we had last week. Minus Zach Martin missing stuff for a personal reason. The notable players absent, right? Not necessarily all of them. I'm not going to include David Durden not here coming off the injury. Odighizuwa's got his hip issue. Seems like he's going to be fine. Mike looked very much unbothered there. Trayvon Diggs, Mazi Smith, Demarvion Overshown come back from their injuries last year. Luke Schoonmaker still with his hamstring injury. CeeDee Lamb's got his contract. Micah, his contract is not, I don't know. Tank Lawrence also not there again today, which is interesting because he has been present at other workout stuff. So I don't really know what's going on there, if he's nursing something a little bit minor, if he's just away on his own stuff, if he's mad about being in the last year of his own contract. I don't know, but is something I wanted to make note of there. Now, also of note, the pretty similar running back rotation, which is Ezekiel Elliott, Rico Dowdle get the majority of the work with the ones. Lipke's involved as kind of that fullback, H-back, hybrid, power back, whatever you want to call him. Then it's kind of Deuce Vaughn, Royce Freeman, Malik Davis to an extent, getting some run there, but pretty clear that Ezekiel Elliott and Rico Dowdle are your favorites to be the lead backs for the time being for the Dallas Cowboys. Tyler Guyton could Beebe also remain working with the twos. Again, this is why we didn't do the second batch of winners and losers, at least not yet, unless more information comes out, because we're kind of all the same stuff that we talked about last week. I'm not worried about that. That's how teams and coaches often do stuff, but I do want Guyton to beat out Chuma Adoga because I don't think that's going to work if you start Adoga week 1 at left tackle, which I think most of us would agree. Today's show is made possible by our friends over at Fanatics. You can get, speaking of Tyler Guyton, the Tyler Guyton rookie jersey. Chatsports.com/Guyton. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. I also have a little link over there if you're watching the on-demand version to click it. Is 60 is over the official jersey from Fanatics. Probably will take a bit to actually arrive because, well, it's still pretty fresh from when he got drafted. Chatsports.com/Guyton. Let's talk the latest here on CeeDee Lamb and his contract status here. CeeDee Lamb remains away from OTAs to the surprise of nobody. He's looking for a new contract and a new deal as, by the way, other receivers continue to get paid, although I don't really think some of these recent deals actually have that much of an impact on CeeDee Lamb. So I'm not going to be doom and gloom on that front there. Here's the report most recently from Todd Archer on where things sit with Lamb and the Cowboys. If more leaves fall, such as a Justin Jefferson deal with Minnesota, then the price for Lamb could go even higher. Of the Cowboys' big 3 deals, the talks with Lamb could begin in earnest, or big 3 deals for Prescott, Lamb, Micah Parsons. The talks with Lamb could begin in earnest soon with an eye on getting finalized in training camp. He has skipped the offseason program for the first time, worked on his own, but Lamb has gotten in multiple throwing sessions with Prescott. I don't know if that last part had actually officially been reported before, but Dak built the football field in his backyard for that exact reason, to have guys over in the offseason and throw with them. Tolbert spent a lot of time there. Cooks has as well. So a lot of that stuff was known, expected, the likely outcome, etc. And, maybe Lamb is the one waiting to an extent. Maybe it is my theory of, hey, I want to get paid now, but if you want to wait, fine. That's fine. Only going to make me more money. The Cowboys, from a business perspective, it actually doesn't make sense to be the ones waiting. It only costs them more money. The longer you wait to pay a player, if that player's good and continues to be good, only costs you more money. The exception is if they fall apart and don't end up being good anymore, which I don't think anyone is worried about that with CeeDee Lamb. The highest paid wide receivers in the NFL right now, from an average per year perspective, $32 million for A.J. Brown, $30 million for Amon-Ra St. Brown. New deals have come across the wire for players like Jalen Waddle, which now make him $28.25 million per year. Devonta Smith is getting $25 million. Cooper Kupp is still at $26.7. There's a lot of very highly paid NFL wide receivers out there at this moment. It has been a strong offseason for this market. The wide receiver market continues to grow in the upward direction, and there's really no indication that things are going to slow down anytime soon, which I don't think that necessarily surprises anybody either. And I think the bigger thing, look, Waddle's number, the average per year, CeeDee Lamb was always going to eclipse that. He was always going to get more than that. He did, however, get a pretty significant amount of money in terms of the guaranteed money. A lot of money his way. I will make note, we don't actually have the nitty-gritty on the Nico Collins contract. That's why he's not on there, but he's in this category somewhere as well, so we left him off because hasn't been... Sometimes those numbers aren't always accurate, like there's some fake money in there, so that's why he's not on there. But $76 million guaranteed is a lot for Jalen Waddle, not far behind Amon-Ra St. Brown, not far behind A.J. Brown. I think the big sticking point for Lamb and the Cowboys could be guaranteed money. Because none of these receivers, despite multiple guys being one of the highest paid non-QBs, none of them are in the top 5 highest paid in terms of guaranteed money. And guaranteed money is always worth monitoring, right? Penei Sewell's over A.J. Brown still. So one of these guys, Jefferson, Lamb, maybe Chase, like down the line, are going to get top 5 highest paid guaranteed money among non-quarterbacks. And a lot of these receivers just kind of have fake fifth years tacked on of like, it's not real money. You add $2 million per year minimum when you add extra years to the contract. It's going to be expensive. I would try to operate with more than what Dallas has done so far. So the big deadline here is training camp. Does Lamb show up? Does he report, etc.? Will a CeeDee Lamb deal get done before training camp? B for before, A for after. Sound off in the comments section. Again, this deal's going to get done. I would be really surprised and really mad if an extension didn't get done between the Cowboys and CeeDee Lamb. And I would rather overpay, quote unquote, right now. I would rather make CeeDee Lamb the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL and give him $35 million per year and go, oh no, you overpaid by $2 million, whatever, because Justin Jefferson will beat that, Jamar Chase will beat that, and you're at the front of the line when it comes to these massive extensions and saving money than being at the back end. The next key date is June 4th. That is when mandatory minicamp begins. And that is mandatory. It is officially a holdout if CeeDee Lamb does not show up that day. He can be fined up to just under $100,000. Now, $100,000 to secure, $85 million guaranteed, that's fine. That is a cost you see players willing to pay. Also got to monitor for the hold in, where he's present, but he's not doing anything. And that will also be worth monitoring. So prediction time. Will CeeDee Lamb report for mandatory minicamp? Y for yes, N for no. Sound off for me. Where else but the comment section of today's show? Now, as part of that piece on CeeDee Lamb, Todd Archer also giving an update on the Dak Prescott situation with maybe update in quotes there. Archer saying, quote, team owner Jerry Jones might have been delighted to hear Prescott say during OTAs he doesn't play for money, but he knows the final price of the agreement will be significant, maybe higher than the $55 million annually Joe Burrow makes as the league's highest paid quarterback. To date, there haven't been meaningful talks between the sides. While the Cowboys have been criticized for waiting to get a deal done, Prescott has shown patience. It worked for the signal caller in 2021 when he signed his 4-year, $160 million deal, and it could work again. Getting something done before the season starts would be preferable for the Cowboys, but the final deadline is in early March. And then Archer went on to say the stuff we've talked about where if he hits the open market, he's gone, and it's going to be a Kirk Cousins thing. There's not really that much new there, and some of the same stuff about, hey, the team should be the one who waits also applies to the Dak stuff here. There's danger in letting this drag in terms of maximizing or minimizing maybe how much you have to pay. There's a very real scenario that it's not just Dak Prescott who hypothetically gets to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. NFL Network has reported that Jordan Love is going to be in the Joe Burrow territory. And you're paying Jordan Love on a 10-game sample size. And Trevor Lawrence might be in that category despite not making the playoffs last year. Tua could maybe be in that category as well. And at that point, it just continues to go up and up and up. The highest paid quarterback right now from an average per year standpoint is Joe Burrow at $55 million per year. Jared Goff is $53. I have a very difficult time seeing Jared Goff, Dak Prescott and his agent, maybe more importantly, going, hey, I'll take less than Goff. Honestly, that'd be a massive win for Dallas if he said, I'll take less than Goff, because he's a year away from being the best quarterback at his age, at his health, in theory there, by the way. That's kind of what I'm more worried about. It's hit free agency. Hasn't happened. Does not happen. And at that point, it's the open market. Anything could happen. Now, the NFL salary cap by year is worth mentioning here because it is different. It is now up to $255 million. It has skyrocketed since 2021, even with the weird 2020 campaign thing, where it dipped down a little bit. So what I want to look at here is what I'm calling inflation-adjusted quarterback APYs. Relative to what they got per year, what the salary cap was when they signed, what would they be making if they hypothetically signed right now? And you'll notice something here where it's a lot more condensed in terms of 1 to 10, and even really, 1 to 5, 1 to 4, than what it was just the pure top 10. And if Burrow had waited a year, same number with the increase in salary cap, looking at $62.49 million. Prescott's looking there at 55.98 with relative to when he signed his deal. Allen at 60 is kind of an asterisk because it was the weird year where it went up and then went back down, but I did still want to include it. Herbert's at 59.65. Lamar's at 59. Mahomes, which is an outlier deal, you can almost toss it out. Hurts is at 57. There's actually very little difference there because the salary cap's gone up and quarterback contract inflation has only gone up by a couple $1 million per year. So that's kind of your inflation-adjusted number. It's super expensive. That's how it works. For me, it's kind of almost not zero sum is not the right term for it, but it's black or white for me. Either you think Dak Prescott is good enough to win championships, good enough to you want him as a top 10 quarterback, then you pay whatever. Does haggling over $2 or $3 or $4 whatever $1 million per year with the way you can structure contracts really change things? A little bit, but not a lot. Or you just don't think he's good enough. And at that point, you should have traded him away and worked out a deal this past offseason. So what's the most you pay Dak Prescott per year? Drop that number for me in the comments section of today's show. Quick scrimmage news update here briefly. The Cowboys and Rams will scrimmage August 8th during training camp before their preseason matchup on August 11th. So in theory, some starters getting some run out there. I think that'll be a beneficiary thing. Knock on wood for no injuries either. And then it's all Trey Lance in the preseason.